After the sudden death of his father, Hugh Starfell finds himself in control far earlier than expected, a loss that burns like fire in his veins. With his sister at his side, the two now take to the skies on dragonback. After witnessing the success of the dynasty's first draconic conquest, Hugh now craves more, setting his sights on the free City of Lys as his next prize. Yet as his power grows, so too do the whispers in Dorne. Why do we still bend the knee to the Iron Throne? Those whispers linger in Hugh's mind, for the people have not forgotten the time when Dorne stood proudly independent. Welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 A Game of Thrones story. We are Lord Hugh Starfell, 35 years of age, and we've never felt better. Recently, we have betrothed ourselves to Nevia Estatis here, the 11-year-old who is Pentoshi. That'll be an interesting one to see. We are trying to see if we can somewhat get involved inside of the Estatis estate here, as their head does have an obsidian dragon egg. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe it'll help us get that egg, maybe not. But either way, I am fine with that marriage for the time being. On top of that, our heir, Caswyn Starfell, is now 16 years of age, so we're getting the prompt that we should marry him off. But what's actually very interesting to see is that obviously our first wife, Leonella Arryn, was his mother, who died at 23. But because that is his mother, he actually has an implicit claim on the Vale. Gaining control of the Vale would be fantastic, but it would leave us in the unusual position of controlling all of Dorne, the lands over in Tyrosh. We have our colony in Valyria, and then we'd also control the Vale. So it's not really a focus for me, but if there's a way to make that happen, you never know. Our most recent conquest has been over here in Tyrosh, where it is actually our brother, Orivel the Beautiful, who rules over here. Another fantastic character, actually. He's now in control over here. We're likely going to continue with expansion in this direction, probably picking up Lys as well here. They do have a wild dragon in their realm, but it's not currently being ridden by anybody. So I think if the Vale are still with us, we should be able to deal with their army relatively easily as well. Especially since we have two dragons now, with ourselves having one and then our sister Arryn Starfell also riding Caraxes. I had asked for suggestions of where to actually expand next, and one of the ones that I thought made the most sense was to just continue in the direction of Valyria over here, with the ultimate goal of maybe one day even connecting both of them up. Will be interesting when we make our way over to the Khalasar of Volantis here. It's currently ruled by Cal Arion Payenemion. He is Heritory, which is an organized the cult's faith, and, like we mentioned previously, Dothraki Essosi Valyrian. So he's a pretty interesting character with his pink hair and beard, but still just rocking bald up top. He's obviously also a hunchback, but does actually have pretty decent stats across the board here. No dragons at least, but a decent-sized army. We are continuing the scheme to deepen our bond with Green Comet as well. I really just ultimately want to try and actually get our dragon riding stat up as high as possible. You can see our dragon bond is doing well here. Haven't really got much out of training yet. Time spent training or in combat together. Okay, so to be fair, we were involved in some sieges, but not a huge amount of battles on the back of Green Comet. But I expect this to go up eventually. That will help quite a bit. And then our other scheme is to fabricate a hook on King Rhaegar here to see if we can use that to gain access to his dragon pit. Now, it was pointed out in the previous episode in the comments that there is very, very little chance of this happening as they guard it with their lives, which makes sense. And to be honest, if I could just gain access to it with just a hook and grab all the dragons, that mightn't actually be as interesting as it sounds, but we're still going to attempt it, because even if the hook isn't enough to get us into the dragon pit, it's still also going to be useful to have a hook on the king of the 7 kingdoms of the Iron Throne. Making knights of children. My child Myron is now of an age to squire. Perhaps I could command a vassal of my realm to squire him. I believe Lord Quincy would be a good candidate. Let's see, is that true, Lord Quincy? You are a knight, you're also a gust, which is nice to see. 13 prowess, 10 martial, that's acceptable. You're inside the same house as well. We've also just had a betrothal fulfilled between our sister, Lady Daria, and Torwin Goodbrother here. That is the ruling house over in the Stepstones. A nice alliance with them, 15,000 men, and it'll also be useful with how close they'll be to us as we continue our conquests over here. And eventually we might turn around and grab Stepstones for ourselves. I feel like from a geographical perspective, it would make sense for us to hold this, seeing we hold the two sides of it, but that's for a different day. I think for now, we're going to mainly focus on Lys. As a matter of fact, I may even just launch this war straight away. We can draconically conquer the free city of Lys. It is giving us a warning that rulers with admin governments may spend influence to requisition additional men-at-arms regiments from their governors. Can I see how much influence you have? 53. I don't think you're getting much more army out of that. It's actually interesting that Giona Tyrell here will lose 15 opinion of us for 10 years because we're declaring war on their child. I will call the Vale in just in case. Obviously, we are trying to save up to that 10k prestige, but rather than spending a bunch of prestige trying to get all of my allies in, the Vale is more than enough. Oh, look at this. They are immediately coming to us in boats. They want to attack us right from the get-go. But I think we're actually going to be okay. It's not great that we're still gathering our army, but it looks as though he will obviously be recently disembarked and their owner is slightly in debt. I think he just went immediately into full-on debt, probably to try and get mercenaries. Yeah, sure enough, the game was indeed lying to us. I think we did have an insane amount of advantages, but we just did not have the men fully raised yet. That's fine though, we're down to minus 8% only. The Vale isn't even here yet, and once I get myself in control of this army, we will then have a dragon at the helm. Here's the Vale, 45,000 men coming to reinforce us. That's what you like to see. Oh, and look at this, we're finally in the High Steel Age. To be honest, I wasn't even sure if this was going to happen or not. Normally in the base game, it tells you what year it has to be to unlock the different ages. We didn't have any information about this, but evidently it's around 269 AC that you get access. I'm going to start off with cranes here to get the late medieval era economic buildings, just to really max out our economy first, and then whatever other innovations we get, we can always afford. Now, the enemy army has sieged down one province and then immediately retreated. I actually think they are in boats somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. Who is this? Who's attacking over here? Oh, it's a Liberty War inside of the Stepstones, headed up by Targaryens. They want the Stepstones back. It's being led by Lord Jaehaerys the Sour, but look who's there amongst the allies. It's Boss Haegon, the beautiful Targaryen, 79 years of age, and still going strong with the mere bandits. Now, dealing with some of these other sieges inside of Lys here, they are not as well defended with scorpions and whatnot, so I think we can be a bit more aggressive here when attacking with the dragon. Let's go for moderate dragon siege destruction, straight up to 12 days, things you love to see. As a matter of fact, the smartest thing to do is probably split my army in half, send another half over there with me, leave my sister in control of these ones, and we'll both just keep using our dragons on cooldown to siege everything almost immediately. Never mind, pull it back, here's their army. I think we're still fine. Yeah, look at this. The Vale wants it straight away. Let's head in. Here we go. Get in there. Get in there. This is what we like to see. Almost 60,000 men versus 6,000. There we go. This is nice and smooth. Sieging down provinces that don't have scorpions readied and an army that don't have dragons when you do is child's play. Oof, and our head dragon keeper Albin is dead. 64 years of age. Honestly, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Albin is actually the man who managed to capture Caraxi, so he will go down alongside our dynasty in the history books there. Let's appoint a new head dragon keeper. Who's it going to be? Halbert here, 29 years of age, 30 stewardship. Welcome to the court, my friend. The investment fund's return. Not only did the fund not make any profits, but its volume even decreased by 1,400 gold. That's enough numbers for now. Now then, we're at 90% in this war. That's 95. This should be 100. Will it be? Oh, Death of a Dragon Rider, Shara Tarbek. Oh, interesting, actually. This is a Tarbek dragon that is now just on the loose up here as well. You can get added to my pinned list of possible dragons to capture. But there it is, with the final siege, a nice and easy war for the entirety of the free city of Lys. Now then, here we go. This is an interesting little holding. Let's see, do we have some Starfell men ready to take this? Yes, we do. We have tons of them. There we go, and I've managed to exclusively hand off all of those lands to only members of House Starfell. It's going to make things a little bit tricky to identify what's what based on the actual sigil here, but the good news is that they are all in good hands and inside of our dynasty. Let me also actually make you all start to convert the faith, and I'll teach you all dragon lore while I'm at it. Now then, we have a dragon that's available for us to capture. Falcale here. He is a male, which is not ideal. We would like a female, but we'll always take a dragon. Let's try to capture you. The Dragon Keepers still have a slightly better chance of success than me, so we will send in Halbert here to see if we can make it happen. Yes, Halbert, well done. That is our third dragon now inside of the Dragon Pit. Now, so Dorne's influence continues to grow across from the Stepstones here. Now, we are bordering Volantis next, which will be a bit of a challenge, but still, no dragons, so it's somewhat open season there as well. I think we'll try and bolster our lands a little bit more, try and capture, obviously, as many dragons as we can, but I do think soon enough it will be time for us to push for our own independence. We do now have the 10,000 prestige needed as well to actually start to fabricate a claim on a dragon egg. We just need 2 more perks inside of the diplomacy lifestyle here to pick up Accomplished Forger, which will enable us to buy a claim on that artifact. Then we can scheme our way up to try and actually steal it. We also still need a marriage for our player heir Caswin here, and I actually think that Lady Damilla Lannister here could work. No inheritable traits, but it would give us another very strong alliance. And if we ever find ourselves in a place that we could maybe start a faction against our actual king and get some of our allies in with us, I think that's the only way to guarantee that we have a chance at actually becoming independent, as one-on-one, I still think their dragon superiority would destroy us. The question as well, though, for you lovely viewers is, do we start a faction for our own independence and then try and get other people to actually come and join us in with that one? Or do we actually create a claimant faction and then try and actually get a claim on the Iron Throne itself? And then, rather than a rebellion for independence, we actually hold our own rebellion to take over full control. I'm not against that, but I do feel like it's somewhat the end game. I kind of want to see what Dorne has to offer with us operating as an independent kingdom, rather than just immediately taking the Iron Throne. Because once we do that, we have infinite numbers of dragons, we can steamroll anybody, and from there, it's really just looking for certain interesting events, like hatching a dragon egg. I still really want to do that. So I think ultimately the goal will certainly be to control the Iron Throne itself, but we still have time. We have still only just entered the High Steel Age. I think we have some time to play it out, see everything that this has to offer, and then eventually go for the Iron Throne itself. But I think sooner rather than later, we'll at least find some way to independence. Oh no, we had another man here who was lined up to become Sword of the Morning. He is Starfell, not Dane, which is great to see, but he has proven himself unworthy. That is another question I have, actually, is many of our characters, based on their actual traits and whatnot, for reasons other than being worthy, can attempt to actually claim Dawn itself. The question is, though, do I look through my dynasty and try and find somebody who is worthy of it to actually offer them Dawn and see if they'll take it? Because thus far, I've only really been able to find people who are unworthy, but who are willing to take it based on their actual personality traits, like being greedy or something. Like in this case, he is arrogant and ambitious, so he'll take it even though he's unworthy. But I would love to continue the tradition of only giving it to those that are worthy. The requirements are just so ultra specific, though. Formidable Fighter or Quicksilver Blade, prowess more than 20, and then just and brave. Actually, I don't know if it's just and brave or just or brave. I'm not sure if they're exclusive to each other or not, but either way, it requires a lot of things to line up quite nicely. I wish we got more events to train some of our children to become the Sword of the Morning. That was fantastic, but it just seemed purely random. King Rhaegar, Slayer of the Northmen. Okay, that's a title and a half. He has removed us as Master of Whispers of the Iron Throne. That's fair enough. To be honest, I think we might also stop our scheme here. We're at minus 60%. I just don't think it's happening. I think even him being on redouble guards is probably making this a little bit harder. Maybe not actually. It's mainly for murder, overthrow, and steal artifact, which we're not doing. But either way, we've made no progress. I think it's best to just abandon it because worst case scenario, he finds out about it when we have no hope anyway and then hates us. Interestingly, though, the Good Brother family managed to actually hold off the Targaryen uprising there. They are still vassals inside of the Stepstones, despite the fact that you control almost all of it. The actual holdings of the so-called King of the Stepstones is really just 2 counties. And they're not even in the Stepstones. That's a weird scenario. I don't know how they lost that, but fair enough. Never mind, he's immediately putting us back as his steward. Whatever you'll like, my king. We are playing the long game. No reason to antagonize him before we are fully ready to make our move. Bonding with Green Comet is still progressing well. Slow, but well. We are up to Dragon Bond level 2, which is giving us monthly lifestyle experience, a vassal opinion, and plus 15, and plus 1 learning. Very nice indeed. What does 3 give us? Another plus 1 martial, more monthly lifestyle experience, and army movement speed. Okay, very nice. Still nothing inside of training though, which is interesting. I do think that could possibly be to do with the decisions I'm taking when we go for a flight. I think sometimes they actually level up different paths down the Dragon Rider trait. But either way, we're making good progress. You've likely noticed as well that the factions against us have disappeared now that we actually are riding a dragon, which makes full sense. We can petition the king again, so we may as well. Now, last time we asked him to urbanize or underwrite a temple. Despite the fact that it was an option here, the game seemed to tell us that it wasn't possible for him to do that and to ask for something else. So we could try fortify borders. I'm honestly not even exactly sure what this even would do for us. Let's see if we can find out. We will, of course, fly there to be there as soon as possible. I am curious if it will maybe give us more garrison size and fort level in some of our bordering counties, which could work quite well for our newly conquered territory. Now, our daughter here, Cassella, does actually have the ability to possibly marry a Targaryen, which I am very interested in. Ideally, one that's a little bit older. Mathen here is interesting, but is stuttering. Maybe Baelor Targaryen makes sense, actually. It's the grandson of the king, so you never know where those eggs and titles may fall eventually. The previous ruler of Lys has also lost his other lands, so we now have the ability to officially create this kingdom title, which I believe will turn into a Lord Paramountcy. Yes, it will. The Lord Paramountcy of Lys. So technically, we now control 3 Lord Paramountcy titles. The Vale can't believe it. They thought they were doing so well with 2. I'm going to invest a little bit more gold into our army as well, now that we're doing quite decent on income. Now, the king is showing no interest in helping us out with our border counties. We will attempt to convince him. I don't think it'll go well, though. We have 0% and 33%. Nope, absolutely not. We are getting sent home packing. That's fair enough, though. We don't really need the king's help with anything. It's just more so if he wants to give us a boost for free, why not take it? Now, I actually made the decision to train for a tournament there just to see if it could maybe reduce our stress a bit, possibly improve a stat and whatnot. But not only did it give us plus 1 prowess, we actually picked up strong, even though it was a super low percentage chance. But that's another plus 4 prowess and a medium health boost. Something else I've also noticed is I can actually only use the Visit Dragon Pit together interaction with my children who have not yet turned 16. So I can actually do it with Myron as well as Hugo, but I cannot do it with Caswin, which is unfortunate as I would love for him to actually bond with that dragon. Oh, it's a sad day. Haegon the beautiful Targaryen is dead at 81 years of age, drank himself to death. What a sorry way to go for a man who attempted to claim the actual title of the 7 Kingdoms. That does now mean that Visenion is without a rider, and Visenion is a female who we know can actually lay eggs. So this is a dragon of extreme interest to us. Where are you currently? Oh my word, you're right next to us. I could attempt to go to war with Eliat and Nello Abersis here. They only have 2.7k men against the free city of Myr. They're currently losing a battle anyway. Do we want to just try and possibly move in, grab some more lands here? Kingdom of Disputed Lands. Okay. Could possibly try and pick this up, and then ideally, if the dragon is still there, we could instantly try and capture it. Let's give it a go. It should be a super easy war for us anyway, so why not? Knowing my luck, by the time we finish this, the dragon will have moved on, but let's see. Oh my word, there it is. It's our sister Daria, who's actually currently ill. Please pull through. But she has been the one to bond with Falkiel from the Dragon Pit, is now his rider. And this is Daria, who we just married off to Torwin here. Please tell me this was matrilineal. Yes, it was. Okay, thanks for the good news. That is now 3 members of our dynasty, all riding dragons. And our conquest of the Disputed Kingdom is going beautifully. No sign of the enemy whatsoever yet. And we are flying through these sieges thanks to the dragons. Whenever we don't have to use it, though, I'm trying not to. It's not worth possibly dying to a scorpion when you're going to siege it down in a month anyway. Oh my word, what is this? I sent my army in to fight the small force that had come out of the free city of Myr. And then over the horizon, we have the actual other army that's attacking them. Who even is it? This is you, and you are House Naylor, City of Brennisar. They have a mountain of men coming in to reinforce here. This could be an issue. And meanwhile, we have a dragon event. I am flying high above the clouds of Maginar atop Green Comet, prepared to conduct a hammer and anvil strike against the enemy once they charge, when I look down and see that Captain Rogosh has already drawn his forces forward. Most surprisingly of all, he is leading their wedge charge himself. Such a move shows clear disrespect for Green Comet's power. For my power, I will not suffer such an insult. So I can say a bold move for someone in tail hitting distance and we'll instantly kill him and we'll gain a 1 trait experience in dragon training. Or we can say, what does it matter? No, let's kill him. Now the question is, can we deal with the remainder of this army before these boys come in to try and finish him off? Okay, we managed to kill them off, but it looks like they're still moving onto our actual tile and we will apparently lose decisively, which is rather surprising. If I put a different commander with better commander advantage on, it goes up to balanced. Surely me with my dragon, though, would be a hell of a buff towards the men. You know what? We're going to do it. No guts, no glory. I still think they will take us. Higher quality, more men-at-arms counters and whatnot. I feel like the dragon helps improve us get a better roll, but I feel like it'll take so long for us to actually get that advantage going that we'll already be down to very few men. But let's see. So immediately they start off just well into the advantage here. Nobody's even dead yet. They just start off at like 75%. We're at +1. This should go up quite high when we get our dragon roll in. Okay, we rolled a 7, followed by a 250. But they just have the numbers. Honestly, though, that's actually fine. I mean, it's embarrassing for us a little bit that they managed to take us even when we had a dragon and they didn't. But it doesn't really matter. They are just a third-party army here, also involved against the Free City of Myr in a war. Our war is unaffected. We keep sieging, and we should be fine. There it is, 100%. Visenion, please still be there, are you? Yes, you are. Okay, amazing. Let's enforce these demands. House Starfell is nice and strong at the moment as well. Only recently I had given lands away to every adult member, and I already have a ton more to choose from here. Okay, the land has been handed out. Once again, I was able to give it exclusively to members of our own dynasty. Oh, what is this? Oh, our other castle holding in Valyria has been finished. Very nice. What in the world is the Great Dragon Keep of Valyria? We have located a potential site for a great palace. In the future, it'll become a place of grandeur. But for now, there's not much of note here. Okay, let's construct. That should take 1 day exactly. And then presumably we can level this up. Yes, we can. So at max level, we're getting more fort level, more holding taxes, defender advantage, 2,000 garrison, and a bunch of bonuses for the holder of this county. Now we're starting to see the power of Valyria truly come back to life. The sad part about it, though, is that it likely means it's time for us to let go of Blackmont. I think over time it makes sense for us to somewhat shed the holdings that we have inside of Dorne and instead focus on what we have inside of Valyria here. I mean, I would love instead if our actual domain holdings could get a bit higher, but right now we're kind of stuck at 4 with all the buffs trying to help us as much as possible. Our stewardship isn't even incredibly low, like it's average at 11, so only having 5 out of 4 when we hold like 3 kingdoms is a bit crazy. It's not going to give us much bonuses right now, but eventually I do want all the bonuses from being the actual holder of the county. If I give this away, I don't get any of these. So Blackmont I will give away, but I will actually give it to my son and heir who can hold on to it for me because it is very, very built up. So at least he'll get the bonuses from that. And when we play as him, if we can hold it, we can. Why is the popular opinion so low? Hated recruiter, in debt, and illegitimate rule. Oh, it's because you're in debt. All right, here's 100 gold, my son. Best of luck to you. All right, I think with Casella here, we're just going to go for some traits, see if we can get them inside of the dynasty. I'm going to marry her off matrilineally to Jeffrey Valatar here, who is intelligent. We would love to get some of that into the family. At the same time, our other son, Myron Starfell of Battle Hills here, recently gifted some land, can also marry. You can marry Lenal Draz here, who is pretty. Also locks in an alliance of 10,000 men. That can't hurt either. Oh my word, the king is dead. King Rhaegar, slayer of the Northmen Targaryen. The man to take his place won't even be any of his direct children. It is instead Daemon Targaryen. Another lunatic, things you love to see. 25 years of age though, still a long time to leave his mark, and he's actually riding fear cracks. The only thing that I'm still currently confused about is Visenion here is definitely flying around the Spar, and the Spar is land that we definitely control, and yet I'm not getting the option to try and capture it. Meanwhile, the new king is asking us to go to his coronation. Fair enough, we shall leave at once. From what I can find online here on Reddit, people are talking about how it eventually went away for them. It could just be to do with the fact that they're flying around the Spar. Maybe we can't really see them. Not entirely sure though. I feel like we should be able to capture you, Visenion, but we can't just yet. Hopefully, Visenion does move, it just moves further into our realm, but if it doesn't, we'll just go to war again. We've arrived at the coronation. What a glorious day it is. Look at us in our Dragon Rider Starfell colours. Meanwhile, our investments are earning a profit of 453 gold. Everything is looking tremendous for House Starfell. Our mother, Daenys Targaryen, is dead. 68 years of age, and actually widowed her whole life after the marriage to Merrick Starfell of Dorne, our father, who died at just 35. Ooh, the ruler of the Vale has just died. It is now Jarrett Arryn who is in control. That does mean we can no longer rely on our alliance with the Vale, for the time being anyway. Oh no, the coronation was going great, but now we're stressed out at the feast. We're going to get a critical break. But thankfully we're a journaler, so we're just going to write our thoughts down and everything's going to be fine. Look at this, I made a best friend as well with Lord Parman Meadows of Blueburn here. The coronation is finished. We can go home. We have our new king. We also have another available dynasty legacy. So we could continue down legitimacy. The next one would be less likely to join dissolution and claimant factions against us. We do have our knees do not bend after that for a 5th level education trait to make more common within the dynasty, which could be very useful. Otherwise, I'm thinking maybe continue down warfare. There's likely lots and lots of that coming. I think for now, we'll stick with legitimacy. Factions aren't that much of an issue, but I do like our knees do not bend. It would be very fitting to pick that up around the time that we are actually refusing to bend the knee anymore. As we fly back from King's Landing to Starfall, I am going to leave this episode here. I'm going to keep an eye on Visenion. We still do not have the option to capture. I'm certain we will eventually, so to give it some time. There I am bugging out again on the way home. But it's looking very, very strong. We have a significant amount of land, basically entirely given to our own family here, which has been tremendous. Anybody that doesn't have a dragon and a relatively weak army, we can basically steamroll. So I think it's more about steamrolling in the correct directions. If we could pick up a female dragon to lay some eggs, that would be tremendous. And at the same time, we only need one more perk, but technically we need 3 more because we need all of these to then pick up Accomplished Forger. Then we will forge a claim on an egg, try and pick that up. And then once we're hatching eggs and we have a dragon laying eggs inside of the dragon pit, I think that is when we will be in prime position to strike for our independence. Meanwhile, Valyria continues to grow in strength and will likely only continue to scale up as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and subscribe, especially since we're closing in on 2,000 subscribers on this channel. A massive shout out as always to all of our channel members helping to support the channel and everything that I do here. If you would like to support the channel, click that join button down below and choose a tier that works for you. And speaking of tiers, a shout out as always to our Emperor's Hands tier in Faustbred and Wyatt Laird. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.